everybody. Good afternoon. I just wanted to come to you today on this beautiful Friday and talk to you about 5 things that you can do right now, basically for free, to improve your health. So the number one thing I want to start with is I want you to go looking through your cabinets, and we're going to try to get rid of all the bad oils, bad fats that are in your cabinets. So I'm going to give you some examples of those. So the oils that you want to be looking for and trying to eliminate or not use anymore are going to be the vegetable oils like corn oil, safflower oil, soybean oil, anything that basically you would use in traditional baking. So there's lots of better oils you can use instead. We're going to talk about what those are. All right, look in your processed food products as well, because those are hiding in there. So we said soybean, corn. It'll just be called vegetable oil. And even the canola is another one. And then you've got what would have been Crisco back in the day, right? Margarine. These are all bad. And even the sort of, instead of margarine, a lot of times now they do those non-butter oils, you know, a vegan oil or something along those lines. Oftentimes those have some unsavory ingredients in order to make them taste decent. So the idea here is you want to go with the less manufactured, less altered alternative that's going to provide much better health. Good fats are hugely important for everything, from not only just healthy skin, healthy heart, healthy brain, digestion, and they really keep all your cells working optimally in your whole body. So the things you want to have instead, so instead of margarine, you want to have real butter. I don't care if it's salted or not, whatever you prefer, but try to choose a better quality brand. Ideally something from like Irish butter or pastured butter, they're called. There's lots of different varieties out there that are now available. They're a little more expensive, but in the long run, it makes such a huge difference in your health, it's totally worth it. So you can use the good quality olive oils. You probably have some of that already at home. Coconut oil. You can use sesame oil. You can use avocado oil. These are all good alternatives. So for baking, depending on what you're making, I usually use either coconut oil or sometimes olive oil. Avocado oil has less flavor, so I like to use that as well. I use a lot of butter for cooking at lower temperatures. At the higher temperatures, you can use coconut oil, or you can even use like duck fat or lard. Those are going to be better quality oils to use at higher temperatures. All right, this is huge, and especially when it comes to things like if you're going to put them on your salad dressing, looking at prepared salad dressings, always have a combination of this stuff unless you're really searching out the better quality ones. So just make your own vinegar, oil, a little bit of seasoning or some garlic. Awesome stuff. Okay, so that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, don't eat for as long of a period during the day. You want to kind of condense your calories into a smaller amount of time. So this does several things. Number 1, it gives your digestive system a break. Number 2, it helps with your metabolism, because if you have a short amount of time during the day where you're not eating, your body's constantly processing calories. It constantly is looking for its next fix, and it doesn't do a very efficient job of burning the stored fat that you have for energy. So you want that to happen. If you want to lose weight, or you want to maintain your weight, or you want to have more energy, it's important not to eat all day long. So the most ideal for if you're starting off with this idea, we call it intermittent fasting, but the idea is that you take in all of your calories during an 8-hour window. So that can be whichever 8-hour window works best for you and your schedule. Most people do best somewhere between 11 and 7 would be a good window. So 11 a.m. you start eating, and then you end by 7 p.m. You could shift it a little bit, 12 to 8. You could do a little earlier, 10 to 6. So whatever works best in your schedule and your family's schedule. This is so important. I have people that once they do this, they start losing weight, their energy skyrockets, their digestion clears up, and they just start having better luck with hormone balance. Okay, your body, when it's processing food, is using hormones to do that, and it'll unbalance your hormones. So if you have extra weight around the middle, step number 1 is eat in a shorter window of time. Totally free. And it'll probably save you some money because you probably won't eat quite as much either. Okay? So that's tip number 2, and we're going to call that intermittent fasting, or they abbreviate it IF. Okay? Some people have to eat in a shorter window of time, even only 6 hours or 5 hours. So start with 8 and you can modify it from there. If you cannot do that, if you cannot go the other 14 hours, the other 16 hours of the day without eating because you feel shaky or headachy or sick, that means we need to work on your adrenal glands or some other hormonal organ. We can help you with that. So if you're having trouble doing it or you've been unsuccessful in trying to do that, let us know, we'll help you. All right, third, also free, sleep. So you've heard me several times, especially lately, talking about good quality sleep and why it's so important. So sleep has implications on all kinds of things with your health, including your metabolism, your energy, of course, your ability to think clearly, your mood, many other things as well. So sleep, you need to get enough of it, but it is ideal for you to be in bed and asleep by 10:30 p.m. So anything later than that, and you're not going to get as good of quality sleep, you're going to be struggling to really restore and get restorative sleep overnight. So even if you're getting only 6 hours a night, if some of that happens before midnight, you're in better shape than if you're getting 6 hours a night but you didn't get in bed until 1. Hope that makes sense. So 10:30 p.m. is your target. So how are you going to accomplish this if you're used to going to bed much later? You want to start moving your bedtime a little bit earlier every week until you get to the 10:30 mark. So you're not just going to be able to magically lay down at 10:30 and go to sleep if your body's used to staying up until 1 or 2. So get into bed a little bit earlier this week, and then next week a little earlier, and the following week a little earlier, and train your body to go to bed at a more reasonable time. You'll be more productive the following day. So I know a lot of, especially busy parents, busy moms, they stay up late because they're trying to get everything done that they didn't get done during the day when the kids were awake. But I promise you'll be more productive the next day if you can get into bed and get to sleep. You also might need to turn off your electronic devices a little bit sooner in the evening so your brain has time to unwind. And I always recommend turning off overhead lights, using more ambient lighting, trying not to do too much on the TV, definitely nothing stressful to watch before bedtime. All right, that's number 3. Number 4 is I'm going to put salt and seasonings. So this is similar to the first one that I said. So your project would be to go through your cupboard either all at once or as you kind of use up your items that you have at home, and look for what ingredients are in the spices and seasonings that you use. So we know that sea salt, Celtic sea salt, Himalayan sea salt, those are much better quality and much better for your body than table salt. So we don't want iodized salt, we don't want table salt, we want the more natural occurring salts. So that's one thing to switch out. That's a good major change with your health. But we also want to look at the things that are hidden in some of our seasonings. So when I look for seasonings at the store, I'm looking for organic. Honestly, they're more expensive, but you use such a small amount of them that in the long run, I don't really think it adds up that much. If you think about how much of a taco seasoning or a particular seasoning you put into something, it's really not going to be that much more expensive in the long run. So looking for organic spices is very important, and then looking at things that don't have other stuff added in. So all the ingredients should be recognizable as actual food. You don't want things like dextrose and MSG, monosodium glutamate, all these different chemical words. You don't want things that have that in there. So going through your spice cabinet, or as you're buying new spices to replace old ones, looking for the ones that don't have a lot of extra garbage added in. That's really a good policy for all foods, but we don't talk a whole lot about spices, seasonings, things like that. So you look at regular taco seasoning, if you just buy taco seasoning like Ortega off the shelf, it's got terrible ingredients in it. But they have natural taco seasoning, a little more per packet, but it's much better quality ingredients, and it's going to make a huge improvement as far as how you feel and how your body operates. All right, number 5, air quality. So there's many different things that can play into the air quality that you and your family are exposed to every day. I think it's particularly important right now. A lot of you are staying at home much more, so you're breathing your indoor air on a regular basis. So things like candles, air fresheners, plug-ins, Febreze, those types of things, anything that has fragrance in it is highly toxic. And not just a little toxic or not just not recommended, highly toxic. So these are neurotoxins. They can give people migraines. Anybody who has any sort of breathing issue, or if you're trying to keep your lungs healthy, you should not be breathing in these fragrances on any kind of regular basis. So you want to eliminate those types of things. So no plug-ins, no traditional candles, no air fresheners that you know of. There's plenty of good alternatives. You can make essential oil sprays for your house that smell nice. An essential oil, you need 5 drops of it to make a big bottle that's going to smell lovely. So make my own carpet spray, make my own fabric refresher. There's things that you can put on dryer balls to put in your dryer so that your laundry still smells nice, but you don't have a toxic fabric softener sheets. So this might be a little bit more of a project as you gradually change things out, but right now I would challenge you, if you have any like plug-ins, candles, that kind of thing, just go tear them out, throw them in the garbage, put them in a closet or something like that, so you're not being exposed to them all the time. And then, open up the windows. It's okay to just smell like fresh air and not have a bunch of scent around, but also looking at replacing any of your fragranced items with fragrance-free. So I hope this was really helpful for you guys. We're here to help. Any questions that you have, please be sure to comment on the video. I'll be happy to answer those for you as the day goes on. And we look forward to seeing you very soon.